You'd love doing that.
I do. I really do.
All right, and we're live. Let's see if we can get through an entire episode without saying the name of the place you work for.
I just want to shout it so bad right now to make you edit something.
But you know what? Then you'd be tied because we both would have done it twice.
It's true. It's true. I'm ahead. I'm in the lead.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Words About Things. This would be episode 3.
Yes.
I can't believe we've made it.
Now, just really quickly, before I know we're going to introduce ourselves as per usual, can we call it episode 3, the 4th one? Because I want to so bad.
Yeah, can we what the hell's the name of it? Can we Star Wars that somehow?
I think we can.
Okay.
We'll just have Roman numerals fucking everywhere. It's fine.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just thinking, like, may the 4th one be downloaded or something like that. Yeah. I am 50% of your hosting team. Joe here with Mr. Jeffrey Laidman.
Hello.
A little bit of a change up here to start off with. Just so you guys know, up front, this is not going to be safe for work. That's first and foremost. I say that because I saw.
I do say though, not the last one. Last one.
I saw my brother this past week, so it reminded me of that. Also, we're not going to be doing a warm-up question. It served us well, but we're a newer show, so format. I guess that's format. Format changes will occur.
Yes.
That's probably the wrong terminology. There's probably audio people cringing right now that I said format. So that's going to change. But hey, if you're first joining us and you want to figure out what the heck we're talking about, you can go find episode 0 through 2 on wordsaboutthings.libsyn.com. You can also hit us up at Twitter at About Things without the first O.
Love character limits.
Yep. And if you feel like emailing us, it's the same thing. WRDSaboutthings@gmail.com. Or if you are lazy, like both of your hosts, you can just comment right on the webpage that we gave you at first. But in addition to that lineup, which we kind of talk about every week so that people have it fresh in their minds, we are also going to have this up on YouTube shortly. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure we're going to have all the episodes up because of the Herculean efforts, and he's laughing while he listens to this because he told me it takes him about 18 seconds to actually do the work. The Herculean efforts of owner of Struck Down Entertainment, Dominic Longo. He has actually already started doing all the migration for us, which we greatly appreciate because, quite frankly, either myself or my computer are too stupid to do it.
Did you say Dominic Longbow? What is his last name?
Longo.
I was so excited. Like the goalie. You don't know the goalie. It's fine.
That's the best. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it slightly, but that's the best pronunciation I've ever.
I'm just going to say it's like Roberto Luongo.
That's probably.
You're going to
perfect.
nod like you have any idea who I'm talking about.
Well, let's put it this way: is he from Italy?
Well, I mean, I'm assuming he's from Canada. He plays goalie in the NHL. His ancestors may have been from Italy.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure it's an Italian name. So yeah, he has done us a huge solid by doing that. So you guys will be able to go to YouTube. I'm sure eventually I will ask him to just teach me how to do it, and we'll have that up much quicker.
What is it that he actually does?
Well,
because I assume that we're not paying him enough to only do this for us.
This is true. So he runs, again, his company is called Struck Down Entertainment. He actually does a lot of stuff. Have you been to the website?
I have not, which I should.
Well, yeah, and if you're listening to this, there's some pretty cool content on there. He's done some music videos. The major body of his work is working with businesses and putting together TV spots, and he can get that ad on TV. So I've actually seen unfortunately, I'm sure a lot of people record things, but I watch a bit of live TV, and I've seen his commercials on TV come up, and it's always it's kind of one of those cool things. You're like, I know that dude, and this is reaching how many people right now. So he does a lot of different things, but his big piece is
Words About Things.
Yeah, I'm sure we're just his number one client right now.
Account for at least 60-70% of his business.
Yeah, no, doubtful. I think you got to move that decimal over a little bit. Yeah, so he does amazing work is what he does. It's pretty impressive. This is our first episode past July 4th. Yay, America.
Yes.
I saw a delightful tweet that you put out from Ron Swanson.
I can't take any credit for Ron Swanson.
Right, yeah.
But yes.
Yeah. So that I'm actually going to get back to because there's something else happened that our listeners probably won't know about, but I think it bears being brought up. But before we do that, I do want to mention that Jeff and I already tried one beer before recording. It ended up being a drain pour.
It was tragically old.
Yeah, it really was. So we're not going to say the name of it because I don't want anyone to blame the company. I don't want to say it's bad beer because it's just skunked out. But I'm currently nursing, apparently like a child, a Flying Bison Kroll 716. Mm-hmm. And Jeff, well, I drink that because Jeff has already finished his.
I was thirsty.
Yeah, you tell us about your week. Tell us what's happened since last recording there.
I did go to a rock and roll show. So that was fun. I'm going to say that as much like an old man as I possibly can, which is I don't care because I actually go to shows. But it was just at the canal side. For those that don't know, Buffalo has a delightfully redeveloped little waterfront area, and right in the downtown. And there are free Thursday night concerts there.
You say delightful, I say a headache, but okay.
Well, I suppose that depends on when you go there. Last night, the crowd for the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones was a happy crowd, so it was fine.
Shut up, really?
It's true. The main reason I wanted to go, the band that was opening for them is a punk band from Boston called the Street Dogs, which it's the Dropkick Murphys' original lead singer, the band that he started after he split ways with those guys.
Oh, okay.
And I dig them. And actually ended up briefly meeting the lead singer because after he ended their set by just diving into the audience's arms and hoping for the best, which frankly you are hoping for the best, because at a free show there are a lot of people there that have no idea who the bands are that are playing, and that could have gone really poorly.
This is true.
But I found him wandering the crowd after he dove off the stage, so that went well.
Yeah,
that went well.
That may get very dangerous for bands that people don't know because again, for people who are not in Buffalo, what they did so Jeff loves it because Jeff enjoys people. I hate it because I don't.
I'm gonna have to maybe make you expand on that Jeff loves people comment.
Well,
but
you're okay with big crowds of people.
Yes.
Yeah, and I typically Jeff's one of those people that gets in tune with the energy of a crowd and it makes his time better. I'm one of those people that goes, if one more person bumps me, I'm going to rip their throat out.
Oh, no, I've got some of that as well.
Yeah.
I don't...
Well, yeah, but with me, it's first bump. But I'm like, one more person bumps into... But, so what they did is they go, okay, well, what do we got downtown right near the water? Well, we have a sports arena where a major hockey team plays. Let's slap a hotel right there and a giant new bar and a giant entertainment area. It annoys me. People don't agree with me all the time, and that's fine, but it drives me up the wall. And I got to figure that eventually what's going to happen is exactly what you just mentioned. Drunks will pour out of that bar, which I'm not going to say because I'm sure they're lovely people, and I don't want to insult them or besmirch their business.
I don't think you're insulting someone just by them going to the bar.
No, not the people. I'm
right.
just saying, like, I don't want to say the bar's going to overserve people or anything like that. But people will pour out of that, go to one of those concerts, and have no idea who's playing. So I could definitely.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You know what? The bigger problem is with these free shows is just children everywhere. I don't mean literal children. I mean like kids that can't quite drive themselves there yet.
Gotcha.
Just get dropped off because it's at canal side, so it's safe and it's free.
Yeah.
And there was a group of girls in the audience near us, probably, I don't know, I have a difficult time judging age, but I'd say probably 15, 16.
Yeah.
And my buddy Eric and his wife Casey were with us at the show, and she actually spied on the one girl's phone in between them taking selfies the comment of with some of her tweeting or texting one of her friends, "I'm surrounded by drunk adults right now."
Nice.
And first of all, like, it wasn't even true. But outside of the fact that it wasn't even true, they were in the middle of the audience. It was as the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones are on, and they were facing each other, not the band. But it was a large group of them, and they like elbowed their way through up into the middle of the crowd and then just stood in a semicircle using their phones.
Yeah.
And why are you there?
Yeah, well,
And even if you go to the free show, Just stand off in the corner. You don't need
Yeah.
to be in the middle of the
Yeah.
throng of people.
Right, and they were probably questioning why there were horns on stage and
It's true.
shit like that. But I mean, that's the text. I mean, that's just another. What am I trying to say? The shit where they're like, people take like they go, "Oh, Bay caught me sleeping," and you can tell like there's a mirror in the background. You can see them holding their own phone up, and it's like, what are you trying? Like, why is that something that you think that's important? And on top of that, if there's any youngsters listening, Bay is Dutch for shit. Stop calling your significant other that. Okay, it's Dutch or something like that.
If things are rocky,
then call them.
you can call them shit without them knowing now, because
exactly.
everyone's awful.
Yeah.
My biggest problem, though, with the teeny boppers there is that how familiar are you with Ben Carr of the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones?
Not at all.
That's fair. The actual band has their friend is named Ben Carr. When they started playing at bars and stuff back in the day, before they were all like 50.
Yeah, no, I know.
Dickie Barrett's 51 years old, man. Facts are facts. I'm sorry. I'm old too now. It's fine. But their friend Ben Carr was 19 and could not get into the bars in Boston. So they said, no, he's part of the band. And so since he was 19, he just gets on stage with them and just dances. Doesn't play an instrument. Usually doesn't sing. Sometimes he'll walk near somebody else and scream some background vocals poorly. Dude has just been skanking on stage for 35 years now. Not 35 years, but getting there. And they were like, who's that dancing guy? Why is he there? And it's in fairness, I wouldn't expect anyone to understand why he's there, but he's fucking awesome. Ben Carr is an institution, is all I'm saying. And he deserves the respect of any shitty 15-year-old girls who have their phones out.
And he's got the greatest job ever.
He does. He does that. Although he had to dance in some pretty significant humidity last night for about an hour and a half straight. Jeff might have died.
Yeah.
Jeff might have died if that was Ben Carr.
But yeah, it's been pretty rough. Now, back to the July 4th thing. Do you know what Ariana Grande is?
She's some fucking Disney kid that sings now, right?
You're better than most.
She was on the Disney Christmas parade that I had to watch with my kids.
Sure. I'll believe you. I don't have children, so I don't have to do that shit.
It's fair.
Well, that's not true. I bet you now that when Danielle...
You have children?
When Danielle hears this and finds
I
out...
I'm learning things about you in episode 3.
When Danielle hears there's a Disney parade, I might be stuck watching that. If they have, Disney characters in it. So, Ariana Grande...
They don't. It's just singers at Disney World.
Yeah.
And then for 3 seconds, some princesses walked by, so I got to watch for an hour and a half for that 3 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Do you realize now that Princess Leia is a Disney princess?
Oh, sir. Sir.
You never put that together, did you?
Right now.
Yeah.
Oh, sir.
You're so happy about that, aren't you?
I really am.
So, Ariana Grande, for those of you who don't know, that is not the new Starbucks drink. She is a singer. That joke is not mine. That's all over the internet.
It's
I'm
fine.
not trying to take credit for it.
I still enjoy it.
Kudos to whoever put that up first, because that's brilliant.
Venti's better.
Doug Venti.
Yes.
So get that Twitter account right now, Doug Venti. So what she did apparently on July 4th, and again, I've heard this through the grapevine. I've done no research on it whatsoever. It could be a total hoax. That's the fun of this show. We do no research and talk about stuff.
Yes.
It's really just...
Because as I always say, things happen.
Yeah.
And we'll say words
about them. So apparently she went into a donut shop with like 2 of her friends, and they have her on camera. Now, this is the only part that I don't find believable, because I don't know a donut shop on the planet that has audio recording, but apparently they have her on camera licking people's donuts and saying she hates America. Like, that's what they caught her on camera doing. And if that's true, I have to figure her career is over. Actually, Kiss 98.5, the local pop station in the area, is not playing her music right now. They refuse to do so. And another fun fact about music, because Jeff right now is choking on his own words. He doesn't even know where to begin. My lovely girlfriend had to pull from her place of employment, I almost said it, Leonard Skinner CDs the other day. I'll give you one guess why.
Why?
Leonard Skinner? Come on. Not even a guess? Because it's got the Confederate flag on the
oh, God.
cover of the album.
I'm not. You got to keep in mind, man. Outside of growing up near people that listen to that band, I don't know anything about that band.
That's fair.
So I did Google. I got to. First of all, I'm surprised I got Arianna spelled correctly.
Well, it's relatively phonetic.
Well, sure. I expected more vowels somewhere. I don't know why, but I did.
Well, that's fair.
Before I even had her last name entered in at all, the word donut did pre-fill into Google. I'm just going to read you. I'm not looking into this any further because I'm too fucking confused by what you told me to be able to try to form a comprehensive thought. Because clearly she was hammered, right? Because you don't start licking people's donuts unless you're hammered.
Or
the
unless,
hating America part I'm confused about.
Or unless you're a pampered Disney star who became a singer and is worth a ton of money at 21.
But you still don't... Right, but then she'd be doing cocaine. She'd be licking people's donuts, though. Like, I just don't see...
All right, so you're going,
anyway,
she was altered state.
Anyway, I think you have to be, right? So the first 3 results on Google right now for Ariana Grande donut, which I have to say, Joe, is not a sentence that I would have expected to be saying tonight, tomorrow, next episode, ever in my fucking life. But here we go. From CNN, Worldwide News. Ariana Grande apologizes and explains donut licking.
So there you go.
Cincinnati.com. Cincy Ariana Grande t-shirt. Is it Grande or Grande?
I think it's Grande. I really do.
I don't care. It's Grande. Cincy Ariana Grande shirt. No donut lickers. Because apparently Cincinnati, Ohio hates one thing. It's a motherfucker that licks a donut without permission. And then U.S. Magazine. It's like a tabloid, right?
I think so.
Tabloid-ish at best. Ariana Grande's half-brother Frankie.
Okay, so just on that alone, definitely a tabloid.
Now, what is like the half-brother? What shitty channel was he on? Because he wasn't on Disney.
Right, yeah.
What's the youth equivalent of Mad TV? I'm going... anyway.
I don't know if they're... Yeah.
Ariana Grande's half-brother Frankie supports star after donut-licking disaster. I have to assume that the follow-up comment in that article is, please call me and pay my bills?
Right, yeah. Donut-licking disaster. I don't know if I'd call it a disaster. I mean, it's a disaster for her. Because like I said, she'll be broke in a week. Yeah, that's craziness. So
TMZ has video up of it happening, and also apparently the health department came and failed the donut shop because no one stopped her from walking from table to table licking donuts.
That's terrible. That's not. I don't really know if I agree with that. I mean, it's, you can't shut down the store on that part. Maybe they called the cops and they were like, yo, I'm not touching this shit.
I'm so confused by that combination of actions and words, though, because licking donuts seems to me, go America. And then you're licking donuts while saying, I hate America.
Well, but
and that seems like a
it's
confusing...
licking other people's donuts.
It's still, though...
I don't know if that's really go America.
Just running around licking deep-fried dough. Okay. Presumably with frosting on it. But sprinkles all up in here.
Your own, though, not other people's. I straight up would have probably gone to jail for assault if I had myself a nice angel cream and some chick. I gotta
say, though, after she licks the first donut...
Yeah.
If I see someone lick a donut and then they're walking toward my table, I'm going to pick up my donut.
Get that.
I feel like other than the first table, it's almost that you need to protect your donut.
I'll give you that one.
It's the only way to be sure.
Yeah. So there's the news from. Oh no, there was one other story. All right. There's another great story. Well, okay. Awesome and then really sad story from my perspective, but. As I finished my beer, because you did a delightful time talking about the Boston's, let's go get ourselves some coffee beer.
Ooh.
Because that's, I think, right? We would have to go that one next.
We would.
All right, so, yeah, pause. All right, and we're back with, I will mispronounce this, Trogs.
I believe it's that.
Sure, Trogs Java Head.
Pennsylvania Dutch, it's not. It is from Pennsylvania.
Yep, it's from Hershey.
The Dutch would disapprove.
Yeah, stout brewed with coffee beans. Not bad. Not the best one I've ever
I'm going to say I like this a lot.
Yeah.
I can't... It would block out the sun. That's a good start for me.
Yeah, it does.
I enjoy it.
Yeah, it does look like espresso. So the other story, again, Facebook, in my opinion, went the wrong way with this one. But so basically, a couple guys on July 4th, probably wasted, I would assume. They're by a body of water that there's signs everywhere that say there's alligators in here. Don't go in the water. And a guy, quote, says, "Fuck the alligators," and jumps in. And exactly what you think happened. An alligator took him out.
Yes.
Plain and simple. And killed him, So, plain and simple, hey, that's a Darwin Award. You're
It
dumb.
is that.
That's a predator. And
it is that.
You're drunk, you were probably floating, and they took the opportunity. That's just what happens. It's you can't even call it an attack. But basically, a bunch of his friends went back and revenge killed an alligator. They're saying that it was like it's like, unless there's an identifying mark.
Whether it was the alligator or not, if you drunkenly stumble into the open jaws of a predator,
right,
it's not been mean to you.
Right. It's done exactly
Nature
what it's programmed
happened.
to do. Yeah.
Just because it's not the alligator's fault that we evolved to be shitty recording ourselves on a selfie stick while falling into the predator's mouth drunk.
Right. Yeah. No, it's and that was apparently Facebook exploded. People were like, "Oh, since when did an animal's life become more important than a human's?" It's like, it's not even the argument. The argument is, why would you go back and just kill this animal? This animal just did what it knew what to do.
That's right.
I mean, if you were swimming in the ocean, and, sober, whatever, and a shark took you out, go Shark Week, by the way, and a shark took you out, I'm sorry, that's
Megalodon 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Oh, don't even
Is that happening?
Started on that. See, that's the thing. I can't remember, so I don't want to say anything 100% I'm positive of this, but that crap that came out with like Megalodon and the mermaid thing, I don't think that was on Discovery, but it might have been.
It was.
It was?
I don't know about the mermaid thing, but did you ever... I never watched the Megalodon thing, but did you see there's a clip on YouTube where they actually run the disclaimer that it's fake?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like 6 minutes into the show and really small and just runs across the bottom while there's a bearded fisherman shouting about something. Amazing. But so wait, where was the alligator snack?
I have no idea. That's the problem. So people at home should know I do not have a Facebook, but there are enough people in my life, I don't know, all of them, that have it, and they tell me about these news stories. And what has always annoyed me, and I think that one of the worst things about the internet now, is sometimes they come to me and tell me a story, and I go, that's absolutely bullshit for this reason, this reason, this reason.
I mean, Florida, though, right?
Probably.
Let's do the math. Alligators, drunken idiot that jumped into alligator pit.
Yeah, could be.
Florida.
Well, It might be.
It could have been somewhere else. I just feel like I smell Florida.
Yeah.
There's a gentle Floridian aroma coming off of this story for me, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'll give you Florida. It probably was. But it just...
I almost got attacked by an alligator. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I did have an incident with an alligator in Florida when I was like 15, and it wasn't so much that it almost ate me as much as I think I woke it up. So I was playing golf, as I was wont to do when I was younger. Don't really anymore. Combination of no money and time, and I have children now. But so I was on. My dad had some business conference thing, and we just got dragged along because it was summer vacation, and there was palm trees there, so I'm all for that. So I got just dumped onto the golf course because I feel like now looking back, I feel like my parents just figured that was sort of cheap babysitting.
Right. And
put Jeff on the golf course.
Be honest,
I'm not going to get in any trouble.
Yeah.
I'm gone for like 6 hours. So there we are.
Yeah.
So as it turns out, though, so I don't remember where this was in Florida specifically because this was 17 years ago, and I'm sure I could figure it out. But whatever golf course this was sort of like right on the coast. So as I'm playing throughout the day, every 2 or 3 holes, alligator crossing signs, just nailed to trees.
Right.
Nary an alligator the entire day.
Right. Which, as a tourist, sometimes you go, oh, isn't that adorable and kitsch? They've got this little alligator crossing sign.
As it turns out, I don't know if it was the last... I feel like it was the last hole. Maybe it was like the second to last hole, whatever. 17th or 18th hole, I hit my tee shot. I'd say into the fairway, but you'd hear me lying through the microphone. So I hit my tee shot somewhere. So I go up to hit my second shot, and I'm driving the dumb golf cart up. And under an alligator crossing sign...
Isn't it?
Now, but
Directly underneath.
You got to keep in mind, though, at 15, when I've gone past 8 or 9 of these signs and not seen an alligator, by that point, to 15-year-old Jeff, there aren't alligators even in Florida anymore.
Right, yeah.
Because there's too many signs with no alligators. It's the alligator sign that cried wolf. So I kind of like looked at it because I was like, it looks real. But I sat there probably 40 yards away from it and watched it for a good 5 minutes. Because obviously alligators move a lot when they don't feel like it.
Sure, of course.
So I watched it for 5 minutes and decided, yeah, that's fucking fake. It's under the sign. It's not really going to just lay under the sign and sunbathe. So I get out and I hit my shot, and I think it was sleeping. Because the noise of whatever club I was using striking the ball was enough that all of a sudden, like 30 feet, because it wasn't that far away from it, so 30 feet from behind me, I just hear the thing go whoosh around and like go fucking running off into the water. And then I drove that golf cart all 3 miles per hour that golf cart could go as fast the fuck out of there as I could get out of there. Because I really had convinced myself that there was no way it was real. And then that shit whipped around. And I'm glad it whipped around and went to the ocean as opposed to I'm going to eat Jeff now.
Yeah, well, obviously. That's pretty funny.
I don't know if the golf cart could outrun the alligator. Right. Had I climbed on the golf cart roof, would I have been safe? I feel like yes.
Maybe.
I feel like yes. I don't know.
They don't really climb, but I bet you could rock that thing hard enough
there
to
for a
put you
while.
off it. Yeah.
Sit on the top and just hit it in the face with a 5-iron repeatedly.
I'm sure if you hit it a couple times, it'd go. You know what that because that's the
Not
thing people
worth it.
don't. Yeah, people don't realize they're pretty lazy.
Right.
You know, they kind of hang out in the water and wait for something to make a mistake.
Right. Or drunk guy to go fucking alligator and jump into its mouth.
I shouldn't call it lazy. I should call it incredibly efficient.
It's true.
Nature's green predator, literally and figuratively. Ding. So talking about crazy shit that happens, because we just talked about Florida. And let's be honest, some crazy shit happens in Florida. Like, and we're not going to get into this one because Joe might throw a microphone. Like Jeb Bush being even allowed to run for president, period, ever.
But this is a monarchy. That's fine.
So I found out something
he's going to be running v. Clinton. Doesn't it just feel right?
Oh,
it just feels right.
Right, I forgot that she was... No, because what'll happen is she'll win the popular vote, and they'll be hanging Chads in
oh my god,
fucking Florida. So, anyways, getting along... I'll get
I will say, though, before...
Oh my god, you're going to get me so upset.
No, I won't. Because it's not even that... As fucked up as that was, that did produce, I'll say 3 to 4 of my favorite records of all time, because punk bands love that.
Yeah, that's true.
So at least I'd get some new music to listen to out of it.
That's fair. That's fair.
All hope has been abandoned, like ballads drifting into the ocean.
Yeah.
My favorite chorus line from that time.
I found out recently... Now, this didn't happen recently. Well, it actually did. I mean, I think it was around about... within the last 2 years. Did you know that there's a state that brought back capital punishment by firing squad? I'm going to say that again for you.
Yes.
Jeff. You did.
I did. And I knew that because all the medical companies...
Called them out?
No. All the medical companies that produce the drugs that they never intended to be used for the death penalty, that got thrown into the death penalty cocktail, have stopped selling their drugs into the U.S. because they're all European companies.
Really?
So the reason that some of the states, I don't know what state did the firing squad, but the reason states are doing shit like that, or the fuck state was it recently that botched one? Was it like
Texas.
Okay, was it Texas?
I think so.
I don't feel like it was Texas because I feel like they had a 20-year stockpile of their deathy drugs.
It wasn't like it just something with it got botched.
Well, because it got
I'm almost positive.
Whether it's Texas or someone somewhere else, the reason it's happening is because the states are trying to figure out new combinations because the drugs they've always used. The companies that made those are going, hey, we made these to help people and stop selling it to anyone that... Right. Stop selling it initially directly to anyone that would use it for that. And then if they were just buying it from third parties, actually just stopped selling shit to the U.S. completely. So who did the firing squad, though?
Utah.
Fucking uppity Mormons, man.
Yeah, no, they brought it back, and it was funny because, like, so the way I found out about this, and you folks at home, if you want to look this up, it was actually kind of interesting in a weird way. This artist,
If you're wearing the magical Mormon underpants, will that save your life in a firing squad?
oh god, if my sister hears this, I'm going to get in trouble. Probably
Is your
not.
sister Mormon?
No, she's not. No, she's not Mormon.
I wouldn't have thought she would
Now
be.
we had a big argument about it. I have a friend who was Mormon, and I don't mean like hung out with him for like 5 years. I mean, parents were Mormon, grandparents were Mormon, like the full on thing, and he left. And the only reason he left is people finally got through to him. Like some people finally were like, "Yo, like."
They convinced him that his itchy hands weren't magical.
Well, and that was the funny thing. I finally, because you never want to ask, but I finally asked him. I was like, "Dude, what's up with?" And he goes, "They're absolutely." He goes, "My grandparents," because that was told to them. He goes, "They showed me actual documentation, church flyers, calling it magical underwear."
Oh, did they really fucking call it that?
Yeah.
I just called it that because I'm an asshole.
Okay.
I didn't realize they called
Hang
it that.
Hang on. I should correct myself there. Not magical, but like blessed.
Okay.
Like, and actual flyers saying, "Hey, this underwear, it's blessed. It's what we were supposed to wear."
Cures diseases and shit, supposedly, right?
Well, but the whole point of this, and you'll see in a minute, is it was a whole thing saying these are blessed. They'll protect you. They're from God and all this other stuff, like legit in writing, the whole 9 yards.
Right.
And I brought that up. My sister and I got into an argument.
Well, some
about
talking rocks told a Mormon to write it down, right?
Right. No, not well. Yeah. And she got really upset 'cause she's like, "No, they're for modesty and all this other shit." I'm like, "Look, I don't know if you have a Mormon person telling you that." I'm like, "But I've seen actual documentate. Like I've seen
Right.
this." Okay, the church may have changed their story, but Joe always throws the bullshit card when the church changes their story. It's like, if that wasn't your story, then you need to come out and own up and go, "Well, we had these and it was modesty, but we told them lies."
But
to get them
Joseph Smith was like a convicted con man that said rocks talked to him. And
Well, it wasn't that rocks talked to him. It was ancient Egyptian. Now again.
that's right, Egyptian tablets that are in the ground in upstate New York,
that
right?
only he could read.
Yes.
Yeah.
In upstate New York.
Yeah. Full disclaimer again, Joe and Jeff do almost no research. The reason this is fun is because we just talk and it's our viewpoint.
Really, we're doing this for us.
Yeah,
And if
exactly.
you're kindly enough to listen,
Right, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah. And tell your friends. But yeah, we got into a huge thing. But anyways, so Utah brought that back because of the shortage on drugs. And initially I was like, "You gotta be kidding me. Like, we're doing this." And then they were like, "Oh, we have this shortage of drugs." And I thought, well, maybe you're killing too many people. Because I'm not a fan of capital punishment. That's never really been my thing. I think some people, that's probably the good way to go. But other people, maybe give them another chance. But this artist, back to how I found this out, this artist recreated a bunch of death row inmates' last meals.
okay.
With, like, explanations, and that's how I saw it, like, oh, firing squad. And I was like, oh my god, how old was that?
And you thought you were going to read like 1840.
Well, they didn't have dates on it, but they were like, oh, this and blah, firing squad. And they had a little asterisk, and they were like, firing squad available in Utah again. So I looked it up and looked into it. Now, you see, this is why this works. You explaining that the drugs that they put into that come from overseas, and the overseas people are like, stop killing people with our drugs. That makes more sense to me.
Well, because frankly, they made medicine.
Right. Yeah.
And then they just...
Well, and the other part of it is, if all these states, this is the stupid fucking astronaut pen all over again. We're spending all this money trying to figure it out. First off, I will tell you right now, I own guns. A 22 bullet costs about 8 cents. You can get them for that price. Just shooting, you know what? Stop wasting taxpayer money. Absolutely. Go back to shooting squad. It's cheap as fuck.
I mean, a guillotine, Joe...
Well, then you got to pay for, knife sharpening. And
You gotta have one jerk to sharpen that
one
minimum
sharpener
wage.
file, yeah.
Now, I guess my thing...
Well, but here's my other point. Why are we trying to... people OD on heroin constantly. When you start, seizing heroin, stop destroying it. Send it to the prisons as lethal injection drugs.
I will say, and this is... I know that... I am way further out to the left than you are.
I think on some things. Other things.
And I know, well, for sure.
Yeah.
On some things, and I think this is probably one of them, because I feel like we shouldn't still be having capital punishment at all.
All
and
right.
if we are going to be doing it, certainly not by some fucking idiot in a state who's not even probably a doctor going, I feel like if we just use this much of this drug, I don't know what it's intended for, this will surely get the job done. Or just cause somebody excruciating fucking pain for like days but not kill them.
Right.
Because I want to say Oklahoma. I don't think it was Texas. It was
might have
some
been.
state with too many right angles for borders out there, and it went horribly wrong.
Too many right angles
I feel-
for borders. If you live in a state that is that has 3 right angles for borders, it's probably red.
There's probably a wonderful place to just sit somewhere and look at the stars too.
Yeah.
And I probably don't want to live there anyway.
Right.
I feel like we don't have a lot of listeners in the middle of the country, Joe. I'm just saying.
I'm all right with that.
It's true.
I'm pretty sure. You know what? We might have one. And for you, young lady, if you listen to this, I expect a text message. We have one that's kind of towards the middle of the country in Colorado.
Can we give her a word she has to tell you so she listens?
Oh,
No, I know. It's fine. In Denver, they eat... what the fuck is it?
I know what it's called. Are you going to say it, or were you going to say a trivia question? Is it Rocky Mountain oysters? Is that what you're talking
Yes, the nuts. What are the nuts from?
Bulls.
Deer, bull, yes.
Deer.
Joe's friend, whose name I don't know, your code word is bull's nuts. If you can tell Joe bull's nuts, we know you've listened.
You know, if I'm ever... You know what's going to happen is I'm going to be driving in the car, my phone's going to go off, and Danielle's going to go, oh, someone texts you. Why is blank person texting you bull's nuts? And I'm going to have to go to get that answer. You're going to have to listen to my podcast.
So I got to say, I feel like I need to propose our first, Watt road trip. I'm going to call our show Watt sometimes, just so everyone's aware.
Sir,
because I did not realize...
I'm going to be very upset if you quote that page as factual. Just putting it out there.
What?
Is that a Wikipedia page?
It is. I was just checking which
okay.
town in upstate New York people fucking go to.
Oh, it's
by upstate
I
New
used
York,
to know this. It's right. It's like 2 hours away.
Palmyra.
Yeah,
and I thought it was like way up closer to the Adirondacks.
Nope.
And it's not. That shit's off the 90, sir. We can go there. That's off the thruway. And I feel like I need to go and maybe I'll feel like. Do they sell like little fridge magnets of magic underpants there?
if they
Somebody's got to have some shit there for sale.
It's Palmyra, and it's the person who would sell that would be people like us, and they got the fuck out of Palmyra the day they turned 18.
Possibly.
Yeah, that's
so I'm learning
that
all
is
sorts of
comically
things
close
about
to
Mormons
us.
now, though, which is
Yeah.
Are you Camorra?
I have not. Is that what it's
Which,
called?
let's be honest, he just took Gomorrah and changed a letter, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, the result of a singular ancient individual traveling thousands of miles from Central or South America to upstate New York. And may I just say, fuck you, Joseph Smith. Why are you making them spend their money on that bullshit to travel back and forth
you do
to your
realize
made-up Egyptian tablets?
that we will get a cease and desist order from that group.
From what, the Mormons?
Oh, you haven't looked into
You
that?
can't sue me for anything, Mormons. I've got nothing. I already drank my beer. You can't sue me for my beer.
There you go. But anyways, so we were talking about Utah. So then the economist in me was like, fuck it, shoot him. But then I did start thinking like, yo, people OD on drugs constantly. Just let them do that. I've heard heroin's lovely. I'm not going to try it. But I've talked to people who've done it. And it's like, maybe send them out with a bang. But I thought that was amazing that, there's still... I mean, I'm waiting to see Texas bring back, like, hangings.
Well...
But, of course...
Their fucking governor that ran for president, who I won't even give the dignity of saying his fucking name, couldn't name all 3 branches of our fucking government when he was trying to run one of them. So I wouldn't be that surprised if they brought back something like that.
Yeah.
They'd use the guillotine if it wasn't French.
True.
Let's be honest.
This is completely true. Yeah, you gotta love that.
I saw a truck the other day with a bumper sticker that was the Statue of Liberty holding up both arms.
Not how that happened, but okay.
It's not. In one arm, Joe. And this was on the back of exactly like the 86 Chevy S10 pickup truck that you would expect it to be on the back of. Speed holes throughout. The Statue of Liberty holding up both arms. In one hand, Joe, almost surely you'll guess one of these things. What do you think one of the hands was holding up?
Confederate flag?
Yes. I actually thought you'd get the other one first. One hand was holding up a Confederate flag.
Oh, and the other one's a gun.
The other hand was holding up an AK-47.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to correct you, sir. It wasn't an AK-47. It was an AR-15.
I'm going to correct you. It was an AK-47 because I've played enough Call of Duty that I know the difference, even though I don't have any guns. So fuck you and your questioning of my AK-47 knowledge.
By the way,
here's my question to you, sir.
Quickly though,
Yes.
I've shot an AK-47 and fuck that gun all day long. Go ahead.
It works on Call of Duty.
I'm sure it does. It was funny. We rented the gun. We shot it because you're like, I want to shoot an AK-47. You know.
Well, it's the cheap thing that fucking people on the news run around with in the desert, right? Like, I wouldn't presume it's a fine piece of machinery.
Here's the thing. It's uncomfortable to shoot. It's not that accurate. And the one we got, we rented it from the gun range. So, you know, they keep them in pretty good spec. And we brought it back out and the owner's like, how'd you like it? And I looked at him and I said, you didn't make the gun, so I don't feel bad saying this. I said, I think it was a piece of garbage. He goes, absolutely is. He goes, but you can throw it in a mud puddle to keep shooting. That's
there we
all
are.
it was made for.
So, regardless of which assault rifle it may have been, and I will call it that, I don't care about whatever technicalities people might get mad about, the Statue of Liberty holding up the Confederate flag and an AK-47, there is not a chance on this fucking earth that the person bought on eBay and waited to come in the mail, all fucking giddy and excited, to slap it on the back of their pickup truck, which is worth barely more than the sticker cost. That person does not have any fucking idea that France gave us the Statue of Liberty, right? Because if they knew that shit, it would not be holding a Confederate flag, it would not be holding a rifle, and it would not be on the back of their pickup truck. And to go further, the merchant that's fucking selling that doesn't know.
China.
And the guy that designed the image in China doesn't know either. But then again, he doesn't know what the Confederate flag is anyway.
Right.
So he's the only person in the story that I'm fine with.
Yeah. No, and that's, that's stupid Confederate.
But the statue on the sticker was turned at such an angle that it looked like a football referee going, "It's good" on a field goal.
Nice.
And it just made it so much better for me that was the case.
That's awesome. Was it a Texas plate?
It was not. It was a New York plate.
Ah,
and I was driving through
really?
Williamsville if you got Southern rebel pride, it should be in the fucking the place around Buffalo where you'd expect like a Range Rover Evoque to be driving around.
Actually, you know what though? That makes perfect sense because it is probably the whitest suburb of Buffalo.
But it's a bunch of like people that lease BMW 3 Series. It's not a big. I wouldn't imagine it as a Confederate flag market. But what do I know?
BMW 3 Series. Oh God, that's not even that.
I mean, most of them are house poor, Joe. They can't buy the BMW.
Right? Yeah. Did you see that we now have a Maserati dealership in Orchard Park?
Do we?
Yeah. Don't even. That's just.
Do you know why we do though? They've made
because capitalism is alive and well.
No, because they've made the Maserati X-Type. Essentially, there's a Maserati that's like $38,000 now. It's a sedan,
of course it is,
and they're leasing it. I'm presuming they're leasing the fuck out of that.
Wait, hang on,
because if I'm some asshole accountant and I can go lease a Maserati for $300 a month,
yeah. Did Ford buy Maserati?
I'm just
because
as
that's
a parallel.
How your Jaguar.
Oh, it is. It is. I've never tried to say anything that my Jaguar is not a shiny Taurus, sir. So I'm well aware of that.
Right.
But does have that leaping cat on the front.
That's true.
And I like British cars, and I can't afford a nice one, so that one will have to do.
Well, you couldn't afford a British car, period, because that's not British.
That's true.
Mexican.
They are assembled in Liverpool, sir.
Are they really?
Might be Ford fucking parts, but those Ford parts are put together at a screwdriver factory in Liverpool.
Sir?
Yes, they are.
Did you just admit to driving something made in Liverpool?
I did. I'm surprised it got here without the wheels being stolen first. So few people know what I'm making fun of right now, but for all the bin dippers, go fuck yourself.
And fun fact about what we just talked about, just for the record, there are 3 Statues of Liberty in the world. For those of you who didn't see that National Treasure movie. Other than that.
Like me?
Really? You didn't know that?
I didn't.
Yeah, there are 3.
Like in the Nick Cage parallel universe or in real life?
No,
is one of them in Las Vegas?
No, legit, in real life. No, that doesn't count.
So 4.
No, the Las Vegas thing, no, that does not count. There's
I don't even know if there is one. I'm just presuming there's one somewhere near the Eiffel Tower that's there.
No, there's three main I've always heard reports that there are other ones, but ones that were actually considered real. Obviously not New York City, folks, because Jersey got all pissed about that. Did you know about that, right?
No.
That's why our plates don't have the Statue of Liberty on them anymore, because someone apparently decided that they fucked up where the Statue of Liberty actually lies, and it's actually within the state boundaries of New Jersey.
Well, then all the football teams need to get renamed too. Calm down,
True,
Garden State. And frankly, they should be. Anyway, but that's fine.
So you've got that one. Then you've
Buffalo Bills, only football team in New York. Anyway, Joe, you were saying?
That's right. Hang on. That's right. Jets and Giants, welcome to New York.
No, fuck off. Go to New Jersey. That's where you belong anyway. By the way, while we're doing that, the New York Red Bulls, too. You're in Harrison. You're not even at the Meadowlands. I've been to the Meadowlands where the Jets and the Giants
Explain
play.
to people what New York Red Bulls are. Because they don't know.
Oh, I'm going to get there. It's fine. So, because everybody knows the American football. So, the Jets and the Giants, I've been to the Meadowlands. You can see the Manhattan skyline from the Meadowlands. Fair enough. You're still in New Jersey. You should still be called the New Jersey Jets and Giants. But you can at least see New York. I mean, it's super fucking close.
Right.
You're closer to New York City than you are most New Jersey. Fine. The Major League Soccer team, the New York Red Bulls, play in Harrison. It's not even like you. There's no reason. They're the New Jersey because it's fucking stupid. They're the New Jersey energy drinks. They've got nothing to do with New York. They've never marketed themselves to New York. It's just ridiculous.
Fair enough. So there's the one in New York, Paris, France, and the Luxembourg Garden in England. Those are the three main statues of Liberty. I've heard reports of there are other replicas. And by replicas, I don't mean that thing in Vegas. I mean real replicas. But I've never been able to
I don't even know if there is one in Vegas. I just assume.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Because there's a pyramid there, and there's an Eiffel Tower, so I'm assuming.
Yeah, exactly. Now, on that note, we're actually doing okay on time. Oh, yeah, we're actually doing really good on time. But it's time for a beer refresher, and then we're going to come back and talk about our most recent prediction.
Ales.
That's what I'm looking at. Ales.
Yes, we're going to get some more.
Oh, well, yeah, it's not an ale, though.
That's fine. I didn't know what you brought.
Yeah, pause time. And we're back with more beer.
Yes.
This time, Founder's Dirty Bastard, which Jeff apparently loves.
It's really tasty.
Yeah.
And evidently 8.5%, so...
There's always a good thing.
As the Scotch intended.
Yeah. This isn't bad. I don't know. It's not my favorite thing, but it's not bad at all.
I really like Scotch-style ales, though, so I was always going to like this one.
Yeah, that's true. I was... this weekend, I had some Tullamore Dew, which I haven't had in a long time, and that was delightful. But,
the guy at the soccer bar that just started buying us shots of that, were you there?
No. Definitely wasn't. I would have remembered doing shots at that bar, which I've never done.
The guy that was, I'm not going to say names, but he's listening anyway, but the guy that was there the one morning when you were there with me, and he was really sad that they wouldn't serve him a beer on a Sunday morning at like 7:45.
Is he part of our crew?
Yes.
Hasn't shown up in a while? We
Yes.
kind of thought he didn't have a license. Yeah,
yes.
I know what you're talking about.
He just started buying us shots of that one day, and I felt like maybe someone had given him money for different purposes.
Right.
And then he spent it on that instead.
Well, that happens.
I think we had just won, no one knows what this means, but we had just beaten Norwich 7-0. Evidently 7-0 was, he starts to buy Tullamore Dew shots threshold.
That's fair.
Which it was fair, and it was delicious. So
why not? So
I did not yet find the original unedited box set of the trilogy that you need for me to be able to have you watch those movies with me.
And that's good that you brought that up, because here's what happened to me recently. So I've got a bunch of family in town. I was there, and we were talking about a family video, actually, that we talked about, the Easter spider thing. That story got told again. We talked about it. And I went on a mad hunt looking through all the VHS tapes, looking for that. And what I found is something that I forgot that I actually owned. It is the trilogy on VHS, and I got really excited. I grabbed it.
You own that.
Yeah, so
and you've never watched it.
Yeah, here's why, and I'm glad that I haven't. Because, so I grabbed it and I was like, VHS. These have, because, time dilates when you get older. I'm like, these have to be the unedited, unsullied versions. And I grabbed it and I took it out to the car. The reason I have them is I didn't buy them. Friends down the street moved out and they were like, hey, here's all the stuff that we don't feel like we need anymore.
Fair.
We're doing a garage sale, but run through it and take whatever you want for free. So I grabbed them. Right.
I'll take these and then make it to adulthood, never watching them.
Right, exactly. So I went outside. They were released in 1997, Jeff. They were already the updated versions. I looked it up.
They did that on VHS?
Uh-huh, yeah. So when you go to these stores, because I'm going to almost... I want to say this is what you've been seeing.
I mean, it makes sense that things were still getting released onto VHS at that point. Mm-hmm. Because my wife has several Kevin Smith movies on VHS. That would have been the same. So that makes sense. But the fact that they were doing reworked versions of shit onto VHS is stunning to me.
Yeah. So this box set, be careful, because I want to say that this is what you've been seeing in the thrift stores. Is
it a picture of Vader's helmet on the one side?
Bingo, and it's gold on the other side. 1997. Because I was sitting there going, this has to be what he's seeing. It has to be, because it's so close to when... Like, I would assume there's DVDs available of that also at the same time.
I mean, the internet exists, Joe. We can just watch it.
Yeah, that's true. We'll have to find it.
Buy it from a reputable legal vendor.
Yes, exactly.
George Lucas.
We would not steal. Now, the fun thing, Jeff had mentioned this to me off mic, and that's fine. Apparently, we made another prediction inadvertently.
We did.
And he wouldn't tell me what it was.
In the small number of shows we've done, we have managed to sort of stumble backward into knowing the future on more than one occasion so far. So we recorded our last show on June 26th.
Something like that. Yeah, it was
in there.
I think it was a Friday.
And we talked about that wig-wearing pompous douche, the Donald, and his, for no seemingly reason at all, calling out of Mexicans.
Right.
We did our show, presumably some sort of high-level important executive at NBC listened to our show, and he was fired within 72 hours. NBC Universal cut all ties with them on the 29th.
That's good.
I don't even think our show was edited online yet, and somehow they knew.
Actually, I believe...
Was that the day it was up? That was the day it was up. You got shit-canned on the day our show went up.
Now, what ties do they even have with him? Like for that pageant or whatever?
All those horrible reality shows he was on, too.
What Apprentice shit?
Whatever, sure. And I'm sure there's 8 of those. He had to be on other stuff, too, I'm sure, because if there's a camera, he'll just show up in front of it.
Right, yeah.
But
that's awesome.
You're welcome, everyone. We've done that for you.
Yeah. Now, in the vein of people who say crazy shit, it's late in the show, folks. I apologize. I feel like at least one person is sitting there with bated breath about this. Before I get into it, though, I do have to note this. So, as most of you know, while we're drinking beers, I check them in to my Untapped app. And if you've never used it, when you do it, it brings up recommendations by style, which I don't think is a great way to do it, but it does actually offer some entertainment. Because I didn't rate this beer that good, so they really shouldn't be. There's a beer out there.
Here's other beers you wouldn't like.
Right, exactly. Here is another beer by Dark Horse Brewing Co. that I think just on name alone should be purchased because it's called Scotty Karate. Oh. And I think maybe that needs to happen. But anyway, so as we're talking, I'm pulling this up on my phone because, quite frankly, I don't want to mess it up. But this is your Joe's Mom's quote of the week, which was awesome, actually. She was tired when she said this one, but I'm still giving her credit.
If anyone with any musical leanings listens to this, I demand a jingle that says "This does not offend me" that we can play every time we're going to do Joe's Mom's quote of the week.
Oh, that'd be phenomenal. So, number one. I'm saying number one because I've noted that as number one on my notes for the podcast.
Sure, and that's only because there's not a spreadsheet in your phone. But
right,
yes,
exactly. There is, actually. Jeff makes fun of me because I like Excel. That's that joke.
You don't like Excel, Joe. I like pizza. Your feelings to Excel are on an entirely different plane than that.
So I can't even remember the situation, but my mom chimed in with, well, if you were... Oh, no, she was talking to Danielle, and she said, when you go to the food place of groceries, do you get a discount? Jeff is holding
I gotta say,
so
man,
hard.
like, if I didn't know better, and I just only knew your mom through these stories, I would think that... this is not said disparagingly.
Right. Mom, I
would
love
not.
You. Jeff loves you by extension.
I would not. Well, I met her.
Yeah, that's true.
I would not have thought that English was her first language, because these don't sound to me like the way the sentence is together. It just doesn't sound like that's someone. And that's not nothing that you've ever brought up from her has ever been said incorrectly.
Right.
Like nothing is
food place of groceries.
Well, I know, but
We're
I mean,
skirting a line.
Well, we are, but even there, it's not. Like, you know, I mean, you know what I mean. But like the other things that have come before, like it's not like it sounds like. I know you said she was upset and said that like I'm intelligent. Like no one's questioning that, but it's just like the way these things are phrased is not. I talk to people at work every day at insurance company X. You're just waiting for me, but I'm not going to tie you, Joe.
I am waiting for it.
You're worse than me at that. It's true. Until I tie you later this episode.
Right.
But it just doesn't sound like someone who... Every day, people, English not their first language, things get butchered a little bit.
Right.
That's not even necessarily butchered, but that's what I would have thought had I not known.
Yeah. No, it's pretty good. It is an interesting kind of thing in my household because my father was born in a country where there is no TH sound in that language. So there's some mistakes even now, and he's been here for 65 years. Yeah, 60. No, well, no, that's not true. He's been in an English speaking country for 65 years, but in the U.S. for 9 years less than that. I'm not doing the math. 3
No
years
TH
yet.
sound.
There's no TH sound in the language he grew up with. So every once in a while he'll put a TH sound where it doesn't belong. And every once in a while, he'll eliminate it where it doesn't belong. So, like, after his first heart attack, he was like, oh, yeah, now I got to go out and buy a thread mill. It's like, really? Mm-hmm. You're becoming a spinster? Like, this is supposed to help your heart or something? And he has done some other things like just mistakes in, like, American idioms and stuff like that. Like, he was angry because people were driving real jacked up one day on the way home from work. He's like, everyone was playing Jump the Lamb. He meant leapfrog.
Right.
But apparently it was Jump the Lamb.
Sure.
So, he switched an entire, family of animals, whatever. So it is kind of fun in the house. But, yep, that's your mom quote of the day there, which I thought was brilliant. We all laughed about that. But again, the whole family's in town, so it was a little bit crazy at the house.
I know the wedding you were at last week that you left early to come record this, or 2 weeks ago, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. People there were aware of the podcast. Is anyone in your family yet aware of the podcast?
Oh yeah, the whole family is.
There we are.
Yeah, mom. So
that's right, because you said she listened to parts.
Yeah, no, I think she listened to the whole thing.
Okay.
Old man.
I still want to make that fridge magnet.
So do I. We probably will. They're not listening. Yeah, no. So I know that my brother listened to at least the entire first episode. I don't know if he listens to the other ones, so we'll see. If he listens to this one all the way through, he'll send me a text while I listen. I don't think my one sister has ever listened to it, although I think she downloads them. I don't think she has time. And my oldest sister, who's still in town, has told me, I haven't had time, but I thought it'd be fun if while we're together, we can listen to it. And I was like, all right. I don't think you understand.
That'd be really weird for you, but sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not like I haven't listened to these like.
Let's just sit down
times.
For 8-9 hours and.
Yeah, right. It's a freaking Harry Potter-a-thon type of time frame. So yeah, I mean, yeah, she's not listening. We'll probably make that fridge magnet. If we're being honest here. So to finish up here, Jeff saw something that was interesting. We had a little bit of trouble figuring out how we'd work this in without it being crazy confusing. It's basically just about weird shit that happens, or how shit happens in a weird way. And I'm not talking the normal stuff. Like if you've ever seen Office Space, you should know the story that the prop guys painted that swing line red so that it would pop out on the screen. Swing line had stopped offering that color for years ago.
Did they?
And they got so many requests for red staplers, they had to put it back into production.
Well, I had one that came with my Office Space DVD.
Right, exactly.
For sure.
Yeah. So weird thing, but not that kind of weird. So basically,
this does involve Coney Island. I know it was just 4th of July, but this is not some asshole jamming 300 hot dogs in his mouth and it's either.
Right. Crappy Nathan's hot dogs, probably. Sorry, folks, we're a Salem's town.
No, they are shitty. It's fine.
Now, basically, the idea, it's not an idea, the story is fairly new because I popped online to look at it real quickly. It's basically just back, in the 1920s, hospitals were cranking out premature babies because the prenatal care wasn't, or prenatal.
It didn't exist yet.
Yeah,
sure.
It wasn't a thing. And so this doctor invented the incubator, which we all know and love today because you can't go a year without a national news story about some kid that was born severely premature and they need help. So what he did, because the medical society rejected the idea, he set up the babies essentially on display as a sideshow on Coney Island, charged people for entry, which people did, made enough money to continue his research and to... that way the parents didn't have to pay for this because the parents wouldn't have been able to afford it. And the story came up because they're showing, these people who are pretty old now. I mean, didn't we say there was one lady that was 94?
The lady that did the interview is 92 years old. Yeah. 94 years old, you're right.
So, I mean, that's an amazing, just kind of interesting story. We've pissed and moaned and talked about things like, Arianna Grande and Utah and Trump and shit for long enough. We'll give you a happy story to go on that
Dr. Martin Cooney. Long gone, obviously, but good on you.
Yeah.
Said over the course of 40 years, treated thousands of premature babies through his Coney Island 25 cents to see the show incubators. There we go.
Yeah, so that's how that stuff got started, folks. Which is kind of interesting, actually. I mean, more interesting than Utah bringing back the fucking firing squad.
It's true. Stop it, Utah.
Yeah, that's...
All these fucking uppity Mormons, man, I'm saying this.
So this is episode 3, our last episode, because Jeff's going to get the Mormon
by next week, I figured they'll try and make a noose for me out of their leftover magic underpants. So if I'm going to go out, at least they'll be by hanging from magic underpants.
Oh, Jesus. We talked about the beer. Yeah, we probably did. Sorry, folks. It's a little bit... I'll give you guys all an idea. It's 1:37 a.m. right now. Jeff's had almost no sleep, and I'm pretty much in the same boat.
About 3.5 hours last night.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, I did about 200 miles of driving today, so my mind is absolutely and completely gone. So...
I don't think they'll be able to tell the difference between us and a normal show, frankly, but that's fine.
That's probably true. A little bit more rambling on this one, but other than that, folks, thank you very much for listening. We've made it to 4, and I meant to bring this up, but I didn't. The downloads on the website are up, which is awesome. Thank you for that. Don't forget to share with friends, and again, thank you to Dom over at Struck Down Entertainment, because this will be on YouTube to poison so many more young ears.
Well, and frankly, it was above our comprehension level. So,
yeah.
Dominic, I thank you as well.
Yeah, I tried it a bunch of times. My computer just really doesn't like me. And from what he told me, it was almost immediate. So, thank you very much for listening. Please look for us in another 2 weeks, because we've actually gotten kind of good at that deadline thing.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's about it from me, unless you want to say anything else.
For Joe Kless, I'm Jeff Laidman. No time for love, Dr. Jones.